Hey, what's going on guys? It's Krishna here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over my 15-0 streak at the Go Battle League Great League. This is actually towards the end of preseason. These are some rank 7 battles where I go in with Alolan Sandslash, Meganium, and Azumarill. And I want to quickly go over the moves. Alolan Sandslash has Ice Shard, Ice Punch, and Bulldoze. Meganium with Razor Leaf and Frenzy Plant. I don't have a second charge move on my Meganium. Earthquake, because with Razor Leaf I'm probably never going to get to it. And then Azumarill with Bubble, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. So these are my move sets, and I'm in 15-0 at rank 7. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So let's get straight into the first set of battles. I'm obviously leading with Alolan Sandslash right here. And then I have Meganium and Azumarill to follow. So we're up against Pro's 30 in the first battle. It's actually a pretty good one to start off. So we're actually going to be going up against Wigglytuff right here. So and I'm going to try and get off an Ice Punch, hoping to get a shield. It's actually a good matchup for us because Alolan Sandslash, being a Steel type Pokemon, is able to resist those charms. So I get a shield here, which is fantastic. And then I'm trying to land another Ice Punch, hoping to get another shield. But he obviously decides to not shield at this occasion, which is okay. It still does a good amount of damage. And I believe I shield right here. Yeah, I do shield. I don't know why. I probably could have let that go because Alolan Sandslash is double resistance to ice because of its ice and steel typing. So I'm going to go for another Ice Punch right here and I get the KO, which is fantastic. So at this point I have switch advantage. He finishes me off with Sudowoodo, which is absolutely fine for me because both Meganium and Sudowoodo are going to be super effective. Meganium and Azumarill, beg your pardon, are going to be super effective against Sudowoodo. He's going to get off a charge move right here, Stone Edge. It isn't going to KO from this range. So he brings his Gyarados. I immediately switch it to Azumarill because I know that I can resist whatever charge moves he has. Be it Hydro Pump, Crunch, or Outrage. We're able to resist its Crunch, which is not going to do a whole lot. And I'm going to go for the Ice Beam right here. This is definitely going to KO the Gyarados. If he doesn't shield, he decides to go for the shield right here. And he's probably trying to get off another charge move, but I get to another Ice Beam, which is fantastic for me. And I'm able to KO the Gyarados from this range. So this is great for us, and I'm just able to bubble down this Sudowoodo right here. I still have one shield, so even if he gets off Stone Edge, it wouldn't matter anyway. So that's the first win right there. GG's, very well played. So moving into the second battle right here. Again, leading with Alolan Sandslash. This time against JTaro84. So this time again, I'm having Alolan Sandslash against Swampert. This isn't a great matchup for us because we're a Steel type and it's going up against a ground type like Swampert isn't a great lead for us. I'm going to try and get off this Ice Punch to get some nice neutral damage. He obviously goes for the shield. I go into Meganium, try and shred him with Razor Leaf. And at this point, I don't have to shield because it was too quick for a Sludge Wave or an Earthquake. So, and then he brings out his Moltres. And then, yeah, this is one of those battles where we had a lot of lag. It was kind of terrible, actually. I get off Frenzy Plant right here. This is going to be double resisted by Moltres because of its flying and fire typing. But yeah, there was a lot of lag in this one, and I believe my opponent kind of decided to quit this one. It was really unfortunate because I didn't notice that when I was firing off those Razor Leafs, but then you can see how much damage Razor Leaf is doing. Even though it's double resisted, it's actually shredding that Moltres, and then yeah, at this point I think my opponent actually decides to quit. Which is completely fine. You know, I've had a lot of lags and I've lost a few battles because of them too, so it's fine. And so for the third battle, I'm up against Charlie B234. So this was actually, I believe, a fantastic battle. It went right down to the wire. So I'm up against Umbreon, which is an okay matchup for me. I don't know why I decided to switch it to Azumarill straight away to soak the charge move, I guess. If it's last resort, it's going to do some nice neutral damage, but it isn't. It's foul play, which is going to be completely resisted. I'm expecting a swap from my opponent right here. He doesn't actually go for the swap, so I'm going to go for the Play Rough, hoping that I land this Play Rough. I don't get the excellent on that one, but even though it's super effective, and he brings out his Leafeon. This is actually one of the things that I dread when I go in with my Azumarill because Azumarill is absolutely shredded by the Razor Leaf right there. But it's fine. I'm able to bring back my Alolan Sandslash. And then I'm going to go and shield this, I believe. I don't know why. I wanted to preserve my Alolan Sandslash, even though it's resistant to grass type moves. I wanted to shield that one, and then I go for the Ice Punch. He obviously is going to put up a shield right here. Then I want to get to another Ice Punch right here. hoping to land this, but he puts up a shield, which is absolutely okay, and he decides to get off a Leaf Blade. Now at this point, I'm in range to be taken out by a Leaf Blade, so I decide to actually shield this up and try to farm this Leafeon down, and I get a bit greedy right here because I have both my moves charged up, but it's a double knockout at this stage, and then Meganium comes out and his Umbreon still has a lot of health. And this foul play, again, I'm going to be able to tank it. It's going to do about 20 to 30% of Meganium's health, and you can see how much Razor Leaf is just, even a tank like Umbreon is going to go down, and then out comes Lapras. This is absolutely perfect for us. I'm able to land this Frenzy Plant, which is not going to KO, but he's got Ice Shard, which is also bad for me, and I'm able to survive with just a sliver of health. So it was pretty close, but anyway, when you win games like these, it obviously feels great. And we're going to go into the fourth battle right here of the first set. So we're up against Not an Assassin. So I'm going to go and start with my Alolan Sandslash right here, hoping to land an Ice Punch. So obviously he brings out his Mr. Mime, which is pretty strange. But let's see if he decides to shield. He goes for the shield. I don't know what a Mr. Mime has. I haven't fought a Mr. Mime before, so I'm like pretty clueless at this point. But he decides to bring out his Absol. I'm gonna go for another Ice Punch, hoping to do some nice neutral damage, and that does chunks of damage. I was like really surprised because Absol shouldn't really be weak to an Ice Punch, but I'm able to get off another Ice Punch right here. It'll be interesting if he goes for a second shield, which he doesn't. Okay, so pretty interesting. I'm still waiting for what move this Mr. Mime has, but I don't know if we're going to find out because I'm able to get to another Ice Punch right here. This is where Alolan Sandslash is super clutch because he's able to fire off those charge moves so quickly, and it's an Altaria. Perfect for us. I'm sure at this point he's probably pretty much given up because I've still got like 2 Pokemon left. For some reason he doesn't decide to shield this. Probably the lag, or I don't know what it was, but even without it, I was in a good position to win this anyway. So yeah, we take that and we go 4-0 in this set right here. So moving on to the fifth battle. We're up against, I'm obviously going in with the same team right here with Alolan Sandslash, Meganium and Azumarill. We're up against Mr. Kaiju 1213. This was also a pretty good battle, I believe. Again, leading with Alolan Sandslash against Abomasnow. This Abomasnow has Razor Leaf, which is not good for my Azumarill at the back, so I want to get it out of here. So I'm going to get off an Ice Punch for some nice neutral damage because Abomasnow is part grass and ice. So he's going to take some neutral damage from these Ice Punches. I'm able to get another one right here because with Razor Leaf it takes a bit of time to generate energy. I'm guessing this is Outrage at this point, and I decided to actually put up a shield right here because I'm going to be able to get to another Ice Punch and KO this Abomasnow and maintain switch advantage, which is really crucial. So I'm able to get this Abomasnow out of here, and he brings out his Altaria, which is absolutely fine because I've got my Azumarill just for that. And he's got one shield. Even if I don't shield this Sky Attack, I'll definitely be able to get to a second Ice Beam, which is really going to KO the Altaria right here. He's able to get off a Sky Attack. I don't have to shield this one, but yet I decide to shield this. It's a Dragon Pulse. Actually could have let it go because of my double resistance to Dragon type moves. I'm able to get to another Ice Beam right here. This should easily KO the Altaria from this range. So we're looking pretty good right now. Both of us are down by, and this is fantastic. We're up against an Alolan Marowak. Now, I'm not running Hydro Pump on my Azumarill. Both Play Rough and Ice Beam are going to be resisted, but at this point, these Play Roughs and Ice Beams are going to chip away, and I'm going to be able to finish him off with Bubble. If this is Shadow Ball, it's probably going to KO from this range. Yes, it is going to KO, or come close to KO. But it's fine because I have a full health Meganium and I'm able to come in and farm down with Razor Leaf. So again, that's 5 wins in the first set. I go 5-0. I haven't been doing a lot of that. Actually, I wasn't doing really well in Great League prior to this. It's actually towards the end of preseason. And I kind of finally discovered this team and it was giving me a lot of success. And we get a Dino right here, which is pretty good. So yeah, going final was pretty good for me, and I think Alolan Sandslash was coming in super clutch for me. So we're going to go into the second set of battles right here. We're going into the sixth battle of this video, and we're up against P4EI, and then we're up against a Clefable. This is also pretty good for us. We're able to resist Charm because of our Steel typing, and also Alolan Sandslash generates energy so quickly. I'm able to get off this Ice Punch right here. We get the shield, which is fantastic. And because Charm takes a little bit of time to generate energy, I'm able to get to a second Ice Punch right here. And this is all adding up. If he doesn't shield this, it's going to do a decent amount of damage. He decides to put up the shield. This is fantastic for us because at this point, I'm able to get to another Ice Punch. This is like, I'm like, oh my god, what's happening right here? And yeah, it gets this Clefable pretty low. I'm trying to get to another Ice Punch right here. He decides to go for the farm down, which is completely fine. Obviously, this is probably going to be Meteor Mash, I believe, or Psychic. I'm obviously going to put up the shield at this point. It's Dazzling Gleam. Okay, so I'm able to farm down with Razor Leaf, and it's Bastion on. Look, I don't have Earthquake on my Meganium at this point because I'm running Razor Leafs. And Razor Leaf takes a lot of time to generate energy, and I'm probably never going to get to that Earthquake. I did change up the moveset now. It has Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, and Earthquake, but I'm able to land the Frenzy Plant, which does nice neutral damage to this Bastion because of its Rock and Steel typing. It gets off Flamethrower, which I'm able to safely shield. I'm able to farm down with Razor Leaf right here. So this is actually good for us, and I'm up against Azumarill. This is absolutely fantastic for us. Another Water type at the back. He does not have shields, and Frenzy Plant is... Again, by combining it with Razor Leaf, I'm able to KO right here before he gets off a charge move. So again, GG's, very well played. So moving into the seventh battle right here, it's against Troll 91. So this is going to be pretty interesting. We're up against an Octillery, so I'm like, I wasn't really aware of the moves that Octillery had at this point. I'm believing this is Mud Shot, which is going to do super effective damage against my Alolan Sandslash, which isn't good, and he's going to be able to resist the Ice type moves as well. So at this point, I'm like, I'm not sure what this Octillery has, so I think I decided to put up the shield right here, and it's an Acid Spray. I'm like, oh my god, I just got shield baited right there. I'm going to go for another Ice Punch, hoping to get a shield. I don't think he's going to shield at this point because he knows what I have. But he actually decides to go for a shield, which is really surprising right there. So I'm obviously not going to shield this. It's probably going to be another Acid Spray trying to lower my defense, which is absolutely fine. Because at this point, I'm just going to try and spam some Ice Punches right here. I decided to stay in the battle because I don't want to lose Switch Advantage. And then I believe this is another Ice Punch, Acid Spray, I beg your pardon. Yes, it's another Acid Spray, and we have a little bit of lag right here. I'm trying to get to another Ice Punch, which I don't think I'm able to because of the lag, or even otherwise I probably couldn't have done. Even Acid Spray would have probably taken me out from this range, even in spite of my double resistance. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward at this point. I'm able to go to Meganium, but unfortunately there's a little bit of lag, which I think allows him to switch. No, it doesn't allow him to switch. So his Octillery goes down and his Grand Bull comes in. Again, some terrible lag here. I just keep attacking. I was like not paying attention to that, and it's really unfortunate. But obviously his Grand Bull goes down, and it's his Graveler. It was pretty straightforward towards the end there. So I probably would have won that anyway, even without the lag, but yeah, pretty unfortunate. So moving into the 8th battle right here, again, going into the same team. We're up against EN-III-08, and we're up against a Floatzel. So, okay, so this is not exactly a great matchup, and she actually decides to go for us. This is really surprising. I mean, swapping out of a water type into a grass type and you're facing an ice type Pokemon, I'm like, and not deciding to shield, I'm like, okay, what's the strategy here? So I'm obviously able to get off another Ice Punch because Razor Leaf does not charge energy quickly, and I'm able to land that Ice Punch right there. Something weird happened in the screen recording, and he's able to farm with Magmar. Again, Alolan Sandslash being double weak to fire, it's not a really good matchup. But I decided to let it go. At this point, I don't have to shield because nothing he has is really going to do anything to Azumarill. Probably going to be able to farm down with Bubbles alone at this point because I know that I don't have to shield and his Fire Punches are not going to be doing a whole lot. So I'm able to generate a lot of energy right here. I know he's got 2 shields and I'm going to have to force those shields if I'm going to have to win this game. I still have Meganium at the back, and Meganium. And it's a Floatzel. Floatzel is back. I'm trying to go for an Ice Punch right here, hoping to get a Shield Bait. Probably could have gone for the Play Rough, but I get the Shield, which is fantastic. I'm able to get to a Play Rough this time, hoping that this time he probably doesn't shield, or even if he does, it's okay. He actually goes into the double shield for his Floatzel, which is absolutely fine, because it's his last Pokemon right here. And we're able to come down with Meganium and absolutely shred him. At this point, I'm just gonna have to shield because even if it doesn't matter what it is, I would have been able to survive anyways. But Razor Leaf absolutely shreds that Floatzel and I take the win. So we're 3-0 in the second set right here. That's 8 wins in a row for me. And we're getting into the 9th battle right here up against Danny Sue 27. Again, a pretty good matchup. Shoutouts to him. And this is up against Altaria. Fantastic matchup for me because I'm able to resist those Dragon Breaths because of the Steel typing. And he comes up against Scrafty. This is not good for us, being double weak to fighting. He's able to get off those counters real quick, but I'm able to switch to Azumarill at this point. Azumarill is a fantastic matchup for Scrafty because of his dark and fighting typing. With my Play Rough is going to do double super effective damage. So for me at this point, it's about trying to land the shield bait. Again, I don't have to shield any of these power-up punches, even though it boosts his attack. There's nothing he can do at this point, especially against Azumarill. So I'm going to try and get a shield bait right here, trying to go for the Ice Beam. At this point, I think he's going to shield because he knows that he's going to be double weak to Play Rough. And now the line is pretty much clear for me to fire off a Play Rough. So we're looking pretty good right here. And obviously, he's trying to get off a few power-up punches. It doesn't matter. At this point, I'm able to get off that Play Rough. This is what happens when you expand or use up your shields pretty early. It leaves you pretty thin towards the back end. He comes up against a Snorlax. It's actually pretty interesting. He's an absolute tank, so I'm going to have to, try and find my way around this tank right here. I'm going to go for an Ice Beam because that's the only thing that I could have gotten to before he could have fought me down with Lick. So it does a decent amount of damage. Like I said, and then obviously we run into a bit of lag right there. And I'm coming back in with my Alolan Sandslash, and he goes straight into the Altaria right here, which is pretty strange actually because he does not have shields. And he's coming in straight into this Ice Punch right here. And then I'm able to farm him down with Ice Shard. So it's actually a fantastic situation for us. And his Snorlax comes back in. And at this point, I'm just going to shield anyways because I don't want to be hit by an Earthquake. It ends up being Outrage, even though we're resistant. That probably could have taken us out from that range. And then I'm going to go for another Ice Punch right here. He still survives, obviously, because he's an absolute tank, and I'm able to farm him down with Ice Shard. So again, a fantastic match for us, and I believe that's the 4th consecutive win in the second set right here. And then we're going to go into the final battle. So we're up against English John 1971 for the final battle of the second set right here. We're going to go in with Alolan Sandslash up against Toxicroak. This is not a good matchup for us because counter is absolutely going to shred us. And then I'm going to go straight into the Azumarill. Even Azumarill isn't exactly a great matchup against Toxicroak. Again, my whole team is actually weak against Toxicroak. It's actually Dynamic Punch, which is good for me because I was kind of worried about the Sludge Bomb. And there's no way he's going to bait with Dynamic Punch because it pretty much generates energy at the same level as Sludge Bomb right here. So I don't think I have to shield this one, whether it's Mud Bomb or Dynamic Punch. I'm easily able to survive this, and then I'm going to get to this Ice Beam right here. If he doesn't shield, it's going to take out the Toxicroak from this range. He's fairly glassy as well. He decides to not shield, which is okay. At this point, I've got Switch Advantage, and he brings Jinx. And then he's able to farm me down with Confusion. This is not good. I'm decided to go with Alolan Sandslash right here, hoping to land an Ice Punch, which is obviously going to be resisted because of the Ice typing. And still, actually, he decides to put up a shield right here. I'm going to not shield because it's probably going to be Avalanche and we're going to resist. We're going to have double resistance to Ice type moves. I'm going to try and get to another Ice Punch. Unfortunately, we go down, and I'm scared right now because I allowed him to farm up a lot of energy on my Meganium, which is going to be weak to Ice types. Luckily, I have a shield right here. At this point, I'm just racing and hoping that they don't get to the Avalanche right here. But Razor Leaf luckily does so much damage. And then out comes Machoke, and I'm able to get to this Frenzy Plant. Again, Frenzy Plant does a lot of damage against Machoke, and it's able to take him out from this range, which is fantastic for us. So we're actually in a bit of a hole right there, but again, Meganium coming in super clutch, Razor Leaf doing tons of damage, and I get the W. So again, we go, that's 10 battles in a row. It's my longest win streak at the time. I wasn't winning a whole lot. I was actually going in with some pretty off-meta Pokemon, I should say. I was going in with Crawdaunt, Lapras was pretty good, it was tanky, and then I was going with Infernape. I was winning about 50 to 60% of my battles, but I wasn't satisfied with that, and this team really came in super clutch for me. So we're going to get into the third and the final set right here, continuing our streak. So we're 10-0 at this point, and trying to get trying to build on that lead right here. So we're up against PPT, up against an Azumarill lead. This is not great for us because Azumarill is going to be able to resist the Ice Punch, and then even Bulldoze isn't going to do a whole lot. Obviously, if I had Gyro Ball, it probably would have been pretty okay, but this is actually the best moveset on Alolan Sandslash right here. I mean, if I actually switch to Meganium, this is actually pretty risky because if he has a flyer at the back like an Altaria or a Skarmory, then I'm actually in trouble. So he goes for the Ice Beam, but I back Razor Leaf so much that it's able to do so much damage before he even decides. Look, he goes for the Skarmory, but by the time he switches into Skarmory, Razor Leaf has already done so much damage. So I'm actually in a pretty good position right here. I'm able to get, and obviously I get a shield. This is fantastic from my point of view because I wasn't expecting shield, but he decides to go for it. It was really surprising because of Skarmory's double resistance to grass because of its flying and steel typing. I decided to let my Meganium go. At this point, it's done its job. I'm probably going to be able to come back with my Alolan Sandslash and then spam Ice Punches right here. We obviously run into a bit of lag, and I'm able to obviously get to another Ice Punch, and it's going to do some nice neutral damage to Skarmory. We'll see if he decides to shield this one. After a bit of lag, of course. So he doesn't decide to shield, which is okay. So I'm able to get to another Ice Punch before he gets to his final, before he gets to another charge move. I'm really putting that shield pressure in right now because if he has to get off the charge move, he has to shield this one. He's not going to be able to survive the Ice Punch from this range. And I think, yeah, he decides to not shield, which is okay. He's obviously putting in a lot of faith in the Pokemon that is about to come. Itchy, I should say, and obviously it's a Venusaur. I can understand why they preserved shields on this because Ice Punch is going to do super effective damage against Venusaur. So we're going to probably see the final shield right here, and okay. This is actually one of those battles where we had a ton of lag. It was really bad actually, and I land the Ice Punch and farm him down with Ice Shard. Okay, this is terrible lag right here, and then Azumarill comes back in. And I think at this point, I believe they were facing a lot of lag. That's the reason why they were able to get off their charge moves. And yeah, it's actually one of those battles that kind of benefited me, I would say. But even otherwise, I probably would have won it because my Alolan Sandslash was still left. And at this point, even though they had a shield, I decided to farm them down with Ice Shard and take that win. So moving into the second battle of the final set right here, we're up against BJA367, and we're going to be starting off with our Alolan Sandslash up against Excadrill, I believe. Yeah, at this point I'm not sure. Again, by the time I realize, I'm like, okay, these mud shots are doing quite a bit of damage to my Alolan Sandslash because it does super effective damage. I immediately decide to switch it to the Meganium right here, hoping to soak this charge move. No, I actually decided to put up the shield because I don't know what it is. Probably could have not shielded that because of my resistance to ground type moves. And this is really surprising. They decide to bring out their Alolan Graveler, which is going to take super effective damage against Razor Leaf. I'm not going to shield at this point. It's probably going to be some electric type move. It is. We're going to resist that. I'm going to maybe able to get off another Frenzy Plant right here. It's up against Lapras. So I guess his whole team was pretty weak to my Meganium right here. Obviously, he doesn't decide to shield that, which is really surprising. And then at this point, I'm able to just bring out my Azumarill and then bubble down this Excadrill right here. It's a steel and ground type Pokemon, pretty good Pokemon, but again, in certain situations, it doesn't really work out very well. We're going into the third battle of the final set right here, up against KT2Y. We're leading. This is actually a fantastic battle right here. It's a Gyarados versus the Alolan Sandslash I see right here, and it's good that he has Dragon Breath, because that's going to be resisted because of our Steel typing. We're going to land this Ice Punch, which is fantastic, and then we're going to bring in our Azumarill straight away. I don't know why I did this. Probably could have stayed in with my Alolan Sandslash, hoping to show the charge move, I guess. Maybe this is an Outrage, which is not going to do a whole lot to Azumarill right here. We're going to go to the Ice Beam. He's going to have to shield if he wants to keep his Gyarados alive, because Gyarados is going to be taken out from this range. He obviously decided to shield into his Zapdos, which is not good for us. But the good news is that we're able to deal super effective damage with our Ice Beam. So I go for the Ice Beam, we land the Ice Beam, which is fantastic for us. I'm obviously going to shield at this point. It's Ancient Power. Probably could have survived that from that range, but I decide not to take the chance. We're able to bubble him down, which is great for us. Really surprising he doesn't choose to shield that. And then we're able to get to another Ice Beam, I believe. Yes, we do, because of our double resistance to Dragon Breath. We're able to outpace him to that charge move right here. And then he obviously decides to shield. Probably he has another charge move ready. At this point, I'm just going to let my Azumarill go down. It's basically done its job right here. And then I'm going to be able to bring in my Meganium. And then he brings out his Infernape, and I bring out my Alolan Sandslash. I don't know why I did this. I mean, because this is actually a bit of a problem for me, because both my Pokemon are weak to fire. And then for some reason I bring out my Alolan Sandslash, which is going to be double weak to fire. He gets off his Blast Burn, which is absolutely fine. He could have actually farmed me down, because he was only probably one Fire Spin. Another Fire Spin could have KO'd my Alolan Sandslash. He decides to go for another Blast Burn right here. We're able to shield, and then Razor Leaf is doing so much damage. But I get to this Frenzy Plant. I decide not to take the chance right here. I decide to pull the trigger on Frenzy Plant, and then out comes his Gyarados and gets taken down by a Razor Leaf. So that was actually really, really close. It was actually one of my toughest battles, because fire is not really great, especially once Azumarill goes down. Both Meganium and Alolan Sandslash are going to be weak to fire, especially Alolan Sandslash being double weak to fire is not a great situation for us. So we're up against Lovecat for this fourth battle of the final set. Right here, we're 13-0 at this point, and so we're up against Clank. So this is actually one of those battles where Alolan Sandslash absolutely cleans up this team right here. So I'm able to go and land an Ice Punch bait right here, hoping to get a shield at this point, because I don't know if they know the kind of moveset that I possess at this point. We do get the shield, which is fantastic. So because of its Steel typing, it's going to resist these Ice type moves. And I decided to actually put up a shield right here. I don't really know what a Clank has. I'm not really familiar with the movesets that it has. It's a Zap Cannon. So just as well that I shielded, that would have done quite a bit of damage to my Alolan Sandslash. And this time I'm going to go for the Bulldoze right here. This is going to do super effective damage against this Clank. They're probably not going to shield, thinking this is a nice punch. But just look at how much damage this does. This absolutely cleans up the Clank right here. And then out comes Latias, I should say. Again, a fantastic matchup for us. Ice Punch is going to do super effective damage, because Latias is a Dragon and Psychic type, and Dragon types are going to be weak to this attack right here. We're going to be able to get the final shield, which is fantastic, and we're going to easily be able to get to another Ice Punch right here, because Latias doesn't generate energy that quickly, and from this range, I believe we're going to be able to KO, which is fantastic for us again. This is why Alolan Sandslash can be super clutch. If you're not prepared for it, it can absolutely shred the team. Then out comes Mew right here. Able to get to another Ice Punch, because I was slightly a little bit ahead on energy, I believe. And then they still have one shield. No, they don't have shields at this point, correct? They've used both of them up, and I'm able to get to another Ice Punch right here, which is absolutely fantastic for me. So even before this Mew was able to get off a charge move, I don't know if he was going for Overheat or Blast Burn or whatever. So I'm able to absolutely KO this Mew right here. So we win with 3 Pokemon and 1 shield in the bank. So again, Alolan Sandslash coming in super clutch for me, and if you're not prepared for it, you're going to take a lot of damage. So again, moving into the final battle of the streak right here. We're 14-0 at this point, and we're up against BEL0643. So we're up Alolan Sandslash against Galvantula. This is again a good matchup for us actually, because we're going to be resisting those ground type moves. I believe that's Fury Cutter. Because of our Steel typing, we're going to resist those ground type moves. He's obviously going to get off a charge move. At this point, I'm not going to shield because if it's a bug type move, we're going to resist it. If it's an electric type move, we're going to take neutral damage, but it's cross poison, which is fantastic. We're double resistant to poison because of our steel typing. I'm going to go for the Ice Punch for some nice neutral damage. Galvantula isn't the most tankiest Pokemon. As you can see, Ice Punch does quite a bit of damage right there. He decides to go for the swap into the Politoed, and I go into Meganium. So this is just fantastic for me. I'm like, wow, this is going to be fantastic. This Meganium is absolutely going to be able to shred this Politoed right here with Razor Leaf. As you can see, Razor Leaf is just adding up. It's absolutely shredding this Politoed at this point. I think he's gonna get off a charge move right here. This is where I get a little bit cocky and I don't shield, and then it ends up being Blizzard, which just one-shots my Meganium, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be difficult because Meganium was loaded with energy, and all that energy just went waste at that point. And here I go, I decide to farm down again, being a little bit greedy right here, and I decide to put up a shield. So at this point, what could have been an easy knockout against Politoed, it manages to knock out my Meganium and get my shield right here. So we're up against Articuno. This is fantastic for us because we're going to be able to double resist Articuno's moves, but we're also going to be able to deal neutral damage to Articuno because of its ice and flying typing. He decides to put up a shield right here, and at this point I've farmed up on a lot of energy trying to farm down that Politoed. So I'm able to get to another Ice Punch, back-to-back Ice Punches right here up against this Articuno. It does quite a bit of damage, okay, and I'm able to get to another Ice Punch. This is really amazing. This is why Alolan Sandslash is so awesome, because I'm able to spam those charge moves back to back, and that's really going to be doing a lot of damage. As you can see, at this point he's really low, and then he decides to use an attack right here. I'm hoping and praying this is an Ice type move, and it is an Ice Beam, which is absolutely fantastic for us because of our double resistance to ice. I'm going to easily be able to get to another Ice Punch right here, hoping to get his final shield or to get the KO. So either way, it's going to be good for us, and we get the KO. He's still holding on to his shield, which is fine, and it's a Galvantula. This Galvantula pretty much has no health anyways, so he's able to farm me down. At this point, I'm kind of worried because he's got Cross Poison. He's going to do super effective damage against Azumarill, but you can just see how tanky Azumarill is right here. Even though Cross Poison again isn't a great move, but Azumarill, even at super effective damage, it should definitely be doing more, but we're able to just bubble him down. He goes down with one shield. This was actually really close because Galvantula had a good matchup against my Azumarill, and also because his Politoed one-shot my Meganium. This is actually not a good situation for me, but at the end of the day, I was able to pull it off, and this was my 15th consecutive win in a row. At this point, I was like so confident that I was absolutely going to be able to rule the season 1, but unfortunately, the subsequent games post this, I did face a number of losses. A lot of people were leading with fighting types, I believe, to counter Registeels, and that was absolutely shredding my Alolan Sandslash. And I was like, I'm actually not very good at the switches, and by the time I make the switch, Alolan Sandslash just gets taken out by like 3 or 4 counters, I believe. It's double super weak to fighting and fire type moves, which isn't great for us. So, but yeah, I mean, I think this is actually a pretty good team overall because you have Alolan Sandslash in the lead, and then you have Meganium and Azumarill. The best part is that these Pokemon are able to complement each other really well. Alolan Sandslash because of its ice typing, ice and steel typing. So that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this is actually a pretty good team to go in with because they kind of complement each other's weaknesses really well. Alolan Sandslash being double weak to fighting and fire, which are both resisted by Azumarill. Azumarill, on the other hand, which is weak to poison and grass, is being resisted by Alolan Sandslash. And then you have Alolan Sandslash's weakness to ground and Azumarill's weakness to electric are both covered by Meganium. So you put this team together, it's a fantastic team. Obviously with Meganium, with Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant and Earthquake is going to work out even better because of it's able to generate energy much quicker. The overall damage output is far more higher, especially with Earthquake. It does like a ton of damage. So that's obviously, I think it's a fantastic team, and yeah, I mean, it's not flawless by any stretch of imagination, but it can really get you some good wins, and I guess probably guarantee you a win percentage of 60 at pretty much any level. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.